I have an interesting story about a group of people who ideologically and, cultural people who are not talked about too much. But you guys may know Trey Crowder, who is the liberal redneck, which is essentially someone who's grown up in a very, white rural area, which has a lot of farming and things like that, and that's why they're called rednecks. But this is an interesting story I found on Raw Story. It says, quote, "Guns are fine, racism is not. Armed redneck lefties are waging a different kind of war on fascism." So, not only do you have the liberals and the progressives and the people on the left, fighting fascism and racism and, xenophobia, misogyny, etc., right? You also now have people who are rednecks and, they're lefties, who are also fighting it, but in a different way, and it's going to be interesting. So let's read into this. So, Raw Story says, a well-armed organization of anti-racists are using gun culture to organize rural white voters against the administration of President Donald Trump. Quote, Redneck Revolt is a national network of community defense projects from a broad spread of political, religious, and cultural backgrounds. It is a pro-worker, anti-racist organization that focuses on working-class liberation from the oppressive systems which dominate our lives, the organization's website states. So that was a quote from the website. Quote, in states where it is legal to practice armed community defense, many branches choose to become John Brown gun clubs, training ourselves and our communities in defense and mutual aid. The name harkens back to the 1921, quote, Battle of Blair Mountain, when some 10,000 United Mine Workers of America staged the largest labor uprising in U.S. history, with many miners wearing red bandanas around their necks. Over 1 million rounds of ammunition were fired before President Warren Harding sent in federal troops. Over 60 people died in the battle, and almost 1,000 miners were arrested. Quote, we use gun culture as a way to relate people, Redneck Revolt organizer Max Neely told Alternet. Quote, our basic message is guns are fine, but racism is not. But this is an overlying message or moral or lesson that I want you guys to take in. There are a lot of different backgrounds where there are a lot of things we can agree on, and I want to say that there are certain things that we can compromise on, certain things that we can compromise on, while there are others that we cannot. So, for example, being a Trump supporter, you can't compromise on, because of, racism, misogyny, xenophobia, etc., etc. You can't compromise on those types of things. But when somebody, when there's a group of people who are pro-worker, anti-racism, pro-labor, liberal, leftist, all these things, but they're pro-guns because of their community culture, it really doesn't matter. Especially because if you are somebody who has rational gun policy, you would understand that probably these things don't affect them because they are, generally speaking, rural voters. So that's interesting. But this is extremely interesting, and I want to know what you guys think. So make sure you do leave it down below in the comment section. What's up, guys? It's Saul Hill here. You guys are watching The Progressive Voice. Make sure you guys click subscribe down below. We're fighting Donald Trump tooth and nail, and we need your help.